Hi, I'm Roy Collin, and welcome to the show. I've got six podcasts, as you'll see behind me. A speaking podcast where I'm talking to speakers, coaches, authors, and even marketers. I've got the meditation podcast where I'm talking about meditation, breath work, yoga, chakras. I've got a load of meditations from 1 minute to 2 hours. I've got the Learn Polish podcast, and the episodes are about 5 to 10 minutes, and we deal with everyday topics like going to the dentist and things like that. The Awakening podcast is where I'm exposing fraud and corruption, but with solutions. And I've had guests like Mickey Willis, Dr. Peter McCullough, David Icke, and Thomas Rentz. The Crypto podcast is where I'm exposing fraud and corruption in the crypto blockchain technology. So about cryptos and NFTs, but also on the good things and how to invest safely. And finally, the Podfather, which you see there on my t-shirt, thepodfather.me, is where I'm helping podcasters either to start a podcast or existing podcasters how to grow their audience. And most of the episodes are short, but they're good tips that will help you improve your show. I also have a store on all of my podcasts, so you can go in. There's some of my products and also some of the affiliates that I do, and that helps me with the show. You'll find everything on bio.link/podcaster. And I'm also helping people start a podcast as well as doing a podcast tour. So you'll find everything on the link there. I'd like to thank my sponsor, DanielPacker.com. He's helping people with fear, doubt, and anxiety. He's got a 90% success rate, and you only pay if he helps you. So be sure to check him out, DanielPackard.com. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Be sure to comment on the social media and let us know what you think. You don't always have to agree, but as long as it's not abusive, the comment will stay up. Welcome to the Crypto Podcast. You can find all our episodes on thecryptopodcast.org. My guests today, both in Puerto Rico, but not originally from there. We'll be talking about creating passive wealth in crypto with Defi Crypto Alliance, I believe this is your company. So please welcome Corey, Geary, and Dane Bollwinkel.
Pleasure to be here, Roy. It's a blessing to be on your show. I figure we could start off talking a little bit about our backgrounds and kind of what led us to what we're doing today. I'll be brief about mine. I was working in corporate America, like many people, and ended up hating it. I was gonna have to kiss a whole lot of butts, do a whole lot of things just to try to rub a few quarters together. And I said, you know what, there's got to be a better way than this. And Corey and I are really aligned in that we are just trying to follow the path that God puts before us. And so the path led me from corporate America to real estate investing, where I was really blessed. I created a seven-figure flipping wholesaling company, had a little rental portfolio, 25 units, and we made a lot of money there. That was great. But same type of thing. I got bored. I felt like there was time to change. It was time for me to pivot and change. And so I knelt down. I said, God, I want a few different things. This next iteration of whatever it is that I do, I want an opportunity to make more money. I want more freedom, and I want the money to come way easier than it does with real estate investing. So just lead me wherever you think I could accomplish those things. And within about 4 months, I'd built a crypto portfolio that was cash flowing $50,000 a month on just $100,000 investment. And it was insane. You do not get those types of returns in real estate. You don't get them anywhere else that I've found. And I was just printing money. It was crazy. And so I looked up in the sky and I said, I can take a hint. And so that's where I've been focused ever since. I shut down my seven-figure flipping and wholesaling business, gave it to my little brother. I've sold off almost all my rentals, and we just focus on helping higher net worth individuals and investors get access to crypto in a seamless way where it can be easy, where they can make passive income every single day without having to spend tons of time staring at charts and making things simple. So that's my story. Corey, you share yours.
Oh, excellent.
I mean, I'll keep it really quick. Same kind of like Dane. I started with real estate. And in fact, I tell people that real estate saved my life because when I got into real estate, I was a drug addict, an alcoholic. I was going nowhere fast, but to my deathbed by chasing the dollar, it forced me to get in rooms with like-minded people who were trying to level up their life spiritually, mentally, physically, financially. That's how I met Dane. It actually, it made me, I got sober. I've been sober for multiple years now. I have a family, and I owe all that to real estate. And but I also, through my real estate journey, I built a massive prison and made me a millionaire, but I was working, 10, 13, 14 hours a day. I was in multiple lawsuits. I was doing between like 30 to 60 deals a month in real estate. And like Dane, in 2022, I went on a spiritual journey, and I was miserable with real estate, even though it had done a lot of great things for me in my life. And I had already been experimenting around with cryptocurrency, and I already been learning a lot about it. I was kind of the top buyer, if you will, in the last market cycle. And I really started, doubling, tripling, quadrupling down the hours of study in the space. I started going to events. I started joining other masterminds. I started getting around other like-minded people in the cryptocurrency space. And so that's what led me to Puerto Rico. And by the end of 2022, my crypto portfolio was spitting off so much passive income that it made my real estate, company, it made it look like a joke. So I shut my real estate company down. I moved to Puerto Rico, and now I have all my time. And now we teach other like Dane said, high level net worth individuals, other entrepreneurs, how to have safe and a framework put in place, exposure into cryptocurrency, and how to create passive income through cryptocurrency, whether it's, the liquidity providing, through mining, or even what we call crypto dividends. And it's been an absolute blessing, and it's been a blast.
Corey coined the term, and he says this all the time. It was a stroke of genius when he came up with this. We like to use cryptocurrency as a wealth creation tool and use real estate as a wealth preservation tool. And that's the whole premise of everything that we do. Yeah. Nobody's doing that. Nobody has the expertise to do both well, at least that we found. And so we went and built it, and it's been a blast. We're really excited to ride this bull run and take profits and go back to things like real estate, where people can offset their gains. We're not CPAs, we're not attorneys, we don't give any financial advice. For our own portfolios, we can go and offset those types of gains through those different mechanisms, and we help the guys in our community do the same thing.
Excellent. I mean, Corey, you were talking about the court cases. I mean, I was doing a lot of property in Poland, and I've had over 100 court cases, and it's one thing that it just sucks the life out of you, and you never
It
want
does,
to.
man. It does. And when you do a lot of deals, man, it's just nothing but a lot of fighting back and forth between buyers and sellers, and just cleaning title, and marketing. I was getting sued because my marketing practices. Yeah, it's toxic, man.
So I'm looking at your backgrounds, and Dane, I'll start with you first, because you've got like the Bitcoin kind of on the thing, and I'd like to know as well, who do you think created it? Because with all my guests on, everybody's got a different answer. I always love to ask people.
Man, honestly, I don't have a strong opinion one way or another on this one. There's data pointing lots of different directions. I I don't know. That's not a great yeah. And I don't really have, like I said, I don't have a strong opinion on that one.
What was the question again?
It just basically, I was admiring your backgrounds, and
Who
I know
created
prior to
Bitcoin?
recording your one there, I asked him who he thought created Bitcoin. So maybe you start with that, Corey, who you think, and then you might tell me about what's in the background, because you've got lovely colors there.
I mean, Satoshi Nakamoto supposedly one who's created Bitcoin, but I mean, everyone's got like their tinfoil hat like narrative. Like, was it the U.S. government? Was it like, there's so many different theories on it, but yeah, I mean, we love Bitcoin because that was the first mover, right? That was the granddaddy. If you want to know what's going on in the cryptocurrency markets, you just got to follow Bitcoin and see where it's at in its cycle. And that's why we love it. I mean, I own very little Bitcoin myself. I have a little bit because people pay me in Bitcoin sometimes. And so I keep the Bitcoin, I put it in a cold storage, and people want to pay me with that, that's fine. But I don't go out and buy Bitcoin because, if I want to try to get a 2 to 5x on my money, I'll just go flip a house. For me, it's, Bitcoin, you're kind of late to the party there. We feel like the mad gains you can make in cryptocurrency. You know, you're not going to really get that much in Bitcoin. It's a great store of value. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't have the volatility to the downside that some of these other assets have. But I mean, I'm in crypto to get the 10x, 20x, 50x's, and maybe even more, right? If I get lucky. And so, yeah, we love Pulsechain. That's one ecosystem that it's rather new. It's about 11 months old. It's a brand new layer one blockchain, has over 500 protocols that have already launched or launched on top of this blockchain. Massive community behind it. And so it's just an emerging blockchain that, feel like it's going to do really well in this market cycle. And so that's where I focus a lot of my economic energy. We're not maxis by any stretch of the measure. We actually participate in other stuff too, but like, that's probably the main focus, I would say, of our money, where it's going, and that's where a lot of all our passive income plays are taking place. Like right now, there was a new protocol that launched yesterday, and what it was is that you could take Hex on Pulse.
Oh, your mic cut
Borrow
out.
stable. There we go. Borrow
Okay.
stable coin against your Hex on Pulsechain, and you could stake that stable coin. I mean, it's paying right now about 1,500% APY. Now that APY won't stay up there; it will quickly diminish. But man, you catching these protocols early, go in there and participate and make a buttload of money. And that's what we love Pulsechain, because you have so many brand new emerging projects launching right now on Pulsechain, because it's that new ecosystem. It's that new shiny thing. And it's just been a blast to participate in there.
And who's the creator of it?
So the creator of Pulsechain, his name is Richard Hart. Most people in crypto know who Richard Hart is. He is also the creator of Hex. Hex did a 10,000x in the last market cycle. Made a lot of millionaires and even a couple of billionaires. In fact, a lot of the guys out here in Puerto Rico moved to Puerto Rico because of the gains off of Hex. And they, of course, Puerto Rico, one of the tax benefits, one of the benefits is you can forego some taxes. Not a CPA, got to talk to some a CPA about that. But that's what Puerto Rico is great for that. And yeah, so it's Richard Hart, and he created Pulsechain because the ETH gas fees got so expensive in the last cycle. If you were staking Hex, basically, you had to be already a millionaire to go and stake and unstake Hex, and it just didn't make no sense. So he decided to fork Ethereum. And the really cool part is that he forked ETH 2.0. So after the merge happened, he took that code and forked it. And now, so anything that any upgrades ETH gets, Pulsechain gets too. And it's been just awesome, as far as like the code is concerned. It's a little bit faster in Ethereum. It's incredibly cheaper. Like literally, I was doing some stuff on the new protocol that launched this morning, compounding and taking my yield and converting it. And man, it was like a fraction of a penny of every transaction I did. The block times are faster, and it's a great ecosystem. It's because it came with this already like cult-like community from Hex that came over, and that's what you want in any new asset class, in my opinion. You want to look for those cult-like communities. I mean, even Bitcoin had a cult-like community. They used to call them the cult of Satoshi. You look at Apple. Apple's one of the biggest stocks in the world now. They changed the world, but in the early days, they had like this cult-like community. And you want to find those communities in crypto. I feel like Cardano has it too. I think ADA will have another run on this market cycle. I think Phantom will have another run on this market cycle too. Will have another. Phantom was like the DeFi summer of last cycle. With all the yield farming. That's where it kind of introduced me into DeFi, was the Phantom ecosystem. But Pulsechain, with this, everything being brand new, it's been great. So yeah, Richard Hart's the founder.
Excellent. So, I mean, you mentioned, where you're based is kind of like tax optimization. And my fear is that a lot of people, they're not paying attention to that. They think, oh, just because it's on the blockchain, they won't be liable. And depending where you are. But is that something that you kind of I mean, you said you're not a CPA, but like,
Not a CPA
but you've
or a
seen that,
financial
like,
advisor.
what's your, like, are you concerned about that? Because I think that eventually they let people trade away and eventually they'll just say, oh, you owe us X and they won't have it.
In fact, I had a really interesting conversation. I talked to my CPA last night about some of the things that we're working on, and he is very much an advocate. In fact, every time I talk to him, he's like, "Dane, you shouldn't be doing this crypto stuff." And he said, "But if you are, be of the understanding that it's not a matter of if you get audited, and it's a matter of when you get audited. And when you do, they're going to try to nail you against the wall because they feel like they're losing tons of revenue
Hmm.
from crypto and they want to hold people accountable there. And so just make sure that whatever you're doing for taxes and for cryptocurrency, that everything's above board. So there's a lot of people out there, right, that are trying to hide money with crypto and they're trying to do things of that nature. We're not big proponents of that. That's why we moved to Puerto Rico so we could do things above board and we could do it without having to pay a ton in taxes and things of that nature. And so once again, like Corey said, we're not financial advisors, we're not CPAs, but we are very much of the opinion that you should do things in a legal nature according to wherever you may live. And I think it's wise to seek the proper counsel to figure out what that may be. Crypto's a big gray area right now where you could talk to 5 different CPAs. I feel like they'd all give you a little bit different answer about how you should approach the taxes for your crypto. So we do our best to make a good faith effort to pay the taxes that our advisors tell us that we should pay, and we optimize our tax savings by living here in Puerto Rico.
And with the exchanges, because like a lot of people, they're nomads that are in the crypto world. And they know your customer, which drives me crazy, to be honest with you,
Me
because
too.
like if you're a nomad, most people don't have a utility bill and all this kind of thing. Like it's like how a passport doesn't work, but yet a utility bill is so important. So which exchanges do you actually do you use do you use the same one, or do you recommend different ones? Mr. Corey, I might start with you.
Oh yeah, I mean, so like anything else, we use Coinbase, Kraken, for onboarding. Actually, there's a direct money transmitter onto Pulsechain right now. They are paused at the moment. The name of the exchange is called 0x Coast, and it's not even like a centralized exchange where you can go buy cryptocurrency. All you do is you wire money into them and then you can mint stablecoin directly on the blockchain onto Pulsechain. So it's like a direct on ramp and off ramp of your money, and I like that the best. I like avoiding the centralized exchange if I can, because a lot of times the centralized exchanges, like if you wire money in and turn it to USDC and you try to pull it off into Ethereum, the blockchain, then they might block it. They're third party middlemen that like to try to keep the money on their centralized exchange, and we're all about decentralized finance, DeFi. We use the centralized exchanges for one purpose, and that's just to convert our dirty fiat into stablecoin and then get onto the blockchain. But 0x Coast is an amazing protocol. Like I said, they should be up and running. Hopefully, again in the next couple of weeks. They had some issues, so they took a small break, but they're not done. They're going to be back up online again. And like I said, I like these direct on and off ramps. We saw this with True USD too on the Ethereum network. We know they stopped here in the U.S. I don't know if they have plans in the future to start back up again, but they were another amazing. Like you just wire money into them, and then you would get TUSD automatically into your DeFi wallet. Like I love that. It's just such a seamless in and out of the blockchain that you don't have to worry about middlemen. But when things are not working, we use Coinbase and Kraken.
Excellent. Yeah. And same with you, Dane. Yeah, you just kind of the whole lot. So, yeah. So with the regulation then, because I mean, like people, when something goes wrong, they want regulation, but they really don't want regulation. So what's your thoughts on it? Start off with you, Dane.
Yeah, I mean, it's right. I think the conversation around regulation, nobody, like almost nobody wants, money laundering and terrorism to be
We
facilitated and
leave that
sex
for the
trafficking.
governments. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Nobody wants those types of behaviors. And so I think it's an interesting thought process to say, well, how do you mitigate negative behavior that most people disagree with? And how do you, how do you reward good behavior? Frankly, no governments in the world are equipped to do either well, right? We've seen time and time again, they made Napster illegal, and you can download more content than you ever could today for free if you know where to look. They made drugs illegal. You could get drugs anywhere that you want today. I mean, governments are not good bodies to be able to manage behaviors well. And so, what is a good system? I don't know, Corey, or I can speak for myself in that we're with you. We don't want the government stepping in and creating regulation. Crypto is very much disrupting the long-standing game. I know at least politicians here in the United States, right? There's no such thing as insider trading. The people that are closest to the information to make money, there's no such thing as insider trading for them. And then they stand up when they're interviewed and they say, "Oh no, it's a free market. We should have the right to transact too." Look here, MFer. Like this is not how that works. This is not fair, not a fair system. And so, I I'm curious to see what comes over the next, 5 to 10 years. One way or another, regulation is coming. There's a lot of proponents out there in positions of power lobbying for good things, which I think is good. I think in the end of the day, I think there will be, as long as you can understand the rules and play by the rules, like most things, I think it'll be fine. It won't be what any of us hoped it would be, but it'll be fine.
Like the guy that brought in the bill to ban TikTok has bought over $1 million in shares in Meta. I mean, the fact that he's not locked up, it just shows how corrupt. And if you look, I mean, there's even people tracing the exchanges that the politicians are doing, and they're making a fortune from it.
A fortune.
It's
It's
sad. Like,
absurd.
it's sad, and there's no accountability. So, like when we see blockchain, it gives us a bit of hope because we go,
Yes,
yeah.
agreed.
So just I want to go into detail on exactly how your whole process works, but I'm just with the wallets as well. Like, which wallets would you recommend?
I
Corey, you
mean,
might
I
say.
I love Trezors, man. I use the Trezor wallets. Here's one of my wallets. In fact, I have a bunch of them. I mean, I have a system that I have that I break up my wallets with, and some of these are vault wallets, some of them are transactional. And so, like, what I like about the Trezor is the capability of making a hidden passphrase. So you already can have your keys, and then you can create your, if you're doing a 24 seed phrase, you can create a 25th seed phrase, if you will, or key that only you know that you created in your head. And so that way, if a bad guy got a hold of this device and he was able to hack the keys and get into your wallet, he would still need to have the 25th key. And the only way he can get that is he had you, right? And so, like, that's why I like these, is because they're like 99.9% unhackable. Now, nothing's unhackable if you give the bad guy the entrance to your vault. Like, you can have the biggest vault in the world with 6 feet walls, and if you open the door for him, the bad
Well,
guy.
that's like when I was younger, I had a motorbike and I had 6 locks on it, and they came into the house and took the keys.
Right, exactly, right. If you allow them access to it, that's it's user error. But like so that comes with good security practice, right? Good security posture, understanding good habits, what not to connect to, what to connect to, how to break up the funds on your wallet. Like this wallet here, this is my transactional wallet. I don't keep a lot of money on there because I'm on the blockchain all day long doing different transactions, doing this, yield farming. I might be doing a little bit of degenning with my meme coins or whatever it may be on that wallet. That's not my long-term HODL wallet. I'm putting my long-term stuff over to other wallets that don't go on the blockchain every single day. But it's practices and posture like that keeps you safe. That way, if that wallet gets hacked, I'm not going to cry, right, at night, because it wasn't the bulk of my wealth. And so that's how you're being your own bank here. You're learning how to have some self-sovereignty here with your banking, and you need to learn the right practices. And if you don't, you can get really wrecked. What's the point of creating all this money in the digital space and having $1 million portfolio if you're just going to go give it to the bad guy?
And I'm just curious, how long was it before you kind of stopped panicking every time you do a transaction? Because if you do it wrong, you lose it. Because I still have that.
That kind of it's like anything else, man. You put enough reps in this thing and you do it. I mean, we eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff now. Like, we're in it all day long. And so, like, when I'm connecting to like the something on the blockchain, if I know that I've connected to it, 100 times already, I don't even think twice about it, right? But if it's something brand new, and I'm like, even though like it's supposed to be a reputable, like the protocol yesterday, like I went into the Telegram channel to double check that the URL is correct. I went on Twitter to go directly to the the dev team who posted it, the URL to correct, make sure it's correct. I double checked the URL. Sorry about that. Let me mute that. But I double checked the URL on my computer, and then I bookmarked the URL so that way when I go back and re-engage with that protocol, I don't make the mistake of typing it in wrong. I already bookmarked it, and now I'll connect that DApp comfortably where I'm not worried about. Like this morning when I connected it and I was recompounding my yield, like it didn't, I knew I was good because it was bookmarked, and I made sure of it yesterday. And I know this team, they have launched other projects on Pulsechain that has done really well. The code's audited. And so like, yeah, now if you're degenning around with some stuff that maybe you shouldn't be, or you're unsure about, make sure you're doing that, what we call a condom wallet, where you don't have a lot of money in there, because if it gets rinsed, yeah, I mean, there's always that possibility.
I presume
I'd say for me, like, yeah, after a few months of like really being in it and doing, anywhere from 30, 40, 50 transactions, then I was pretty comfy, especially once you're using, right? Nobody takes security seriously until they get whacked, and then it's too late. And so, or I should say, most people don't. And we're very aware of that. So we've taken security real seriously from the jump. We haven't ever been hacked or scammed, Corey or I. Now we bought plenty of shit coins that haven't done well. It's just part of the game. But we haven't ever had a wallet drained because we took the security really seriously from the jump. So as long as we're using websites that we know that we've used before, and we're double checking them, we're double checking contract addresses, we're using our hardware wallets. I mean, there's not a lot that can go wrong necessarily in that equation. And so I don't really sweat it anymore going and transacting.
You mentioned about the domain name. There was like there's two people that have been on the show that have lost a lot of money. One guy $500,000, and another, I don't know, was it 100,000 or 200,000. And one of them was actually the domain name. There was a tiny little change. He didn't cop it.
Yep.
He was just chilling as he was doing the transaction because he got competent. And
yep, common scam.
Yeah. So it's
very
just
common. We had a buddy too that lost like he lost, I was like, about 100 grand in Ethereum connected to a Uniswap instead of a Uniswap.
And you can hedge your risk against that by bookmarking like the common
Yeah.
websites that you use all the time, and just making sure you go to those websites. We like to build frameworks where, we all get complacent from time to time, but you can mitigate those risks. So there's not a lot of, at least the way that I like to do crypto personally, I'm not going to a lot of websites that I haven't been to before. So I can almost exclusively use my bookmarks to be able to hedge that risk. So that's a really handy tip.
but that it is a brilliant tip. Like, and I haven't heard that one before. So yeah, fantastic. So Corey, you mentioned yield farming. You might explain that.
Yield farming is just simply liquidity providing. So basically, make it very easy for your audience. What is the business model of Coinbase, Robinhood, Binance? Well, their business model is just to offer up assets for the marketplace to trade back and forth, and they make all the fees. Did you know that Binance makes $24 billion a year, off of that business model? That's why CZ, when he got charged $4 billion, he was like, okay, here, I'll write the speeding ticket. And I'll go to jail for 4 months and I'm going to get back out and I'm still making $24 billion a year. It's wild to think about how much money there's in that business model. Well, in decentralized finance, since we don't use centralized exchanges to buy our assets, well, where do we buy our assets? Well, it's peer-to-peer. And so say, for example, you hold Hex and Ethereum, you can go to Uniswap. That's a decentralized exchange. You can put those two assets in a liquidity pool. The marketplace will trade back and forth between them, and you make all the fees. And so that's 10 in, while yield farming, there's one more component. That's actually when you take the liquidity position token and stake it in the platform and you earn another incentive token on top of it. So that you're making all the fees from the marketplace trading in and out. And then you're also getting the incentive token, depending on what decentralized exchange you're on, for staking that LP token. So it's an extra bonus on top. And that's usually what liquidity farming refers to, but it's just liquidity providing. You're the market maker. You're the one providing the assets for the market to trade back and forth in decentralized finance. And it pays really well. It's great.
Excellent. So with what you're offering, what kind of level of investor is the kind of starting point?
We do a number of different things. So back to the framework of what we've been building for the last few years, our intention is to make as much money in crypto as we can over the next year, and then use things like real estate, real world assets, oil and gas, businesses. There's a lot of tax breaks, at least in the United States. Once again, go talk to a professional that's licensed to talk to you about those things if you want the details. We can point you to some people if you need them. Just feel free to reach out to us. But our intention is to be able to make our money and keep it too. I would much rather take the money that I would have to give away to the government and buy some real estate or buy a business or buy some oil and gas. And a lot of the time, if you structure it properly, you can buy enough where literally you're just taking the money you would have given to the government, you're buying an asset for yourself, and that asset can turn off enough tax breaks that it washes away the amount you're supposed to pay to the government. It's beautiful. It's just a matter of knowing and planning for those things. So typically we work with higher net worth individuals, anywhere from people that have no idea what's going on in cryptocurrency, clear up to mid-tier and advanced individuals. Right now, we're very focused on helping some of the newer people learn how to do crypto at a high level. And like I said, here in the next year or so, we'll be transitioning and moving crypto gains to real world assets. And so that'll make a ton of sense for your more advanced users at that point to come and plug in with us if those are things that they need help with. And it's been a big blessing. We've got almost 200 people in our community, in our mastermind, and it's growing every single week.
So basically, you're kind of more advising and telling them exactly the way you're doing it rather than taking the funds and investing for them.
So we don't do any advising. We don't give any financial advice. What we can do, though, my attorney put it this way, and we talked to a bunch of crypto hedge funds.
That's American terms. You're always trying to protect yourself because you sue each
Always.
other, right?
Yeah,
It doesn't
always.
happen in Europe.
Always. So our attorney, he gave a great example. He said, right now, Dane, all of the crypto hedge funds are getting slaughtered because the SEC is making up rules and then coming and fining people based upon these new made-up rules. And so he said, rather, what he recommended is doing crypto with people. He said, if you could go be a fly on the wall in Warren Buffett's office, and he couldn't tell you what to do, but you could just watch what he was doing and learn from it, do you think you'd benefit? And we said, absolutely. We'd probably make a ton of money just from learning how things worked. And so that's what we do now in our communities. We share what we're buying, when we're buying, how much we're buying. Corey's always on top of the cool new things that are launching, how to get involved in those things, profit-taking strategies, passive income, all those types of things. We share everything that we're doing, since we're doing the heavy lifting every single day, and giving that data to everyone in our mastermind. And then they get to choose the things that they may or may not want to participate in. Just because Corey or I are participating in something doesn't mean it's great for everybody else. And so we help educate everybody on what a proper mindset looks like and a good way to approach crypto based upon their goals and the capital that they have. And then they get to make their own financial decisions based upon what they think is good for them and how they can meet those goals.
I mean, you've both been doing the real estate, but I heard you on another podcast, Corey. You were both on it, actually. I forget the name of the show, but kind of looking at the cycles with real estate and crypto. So you might just kind of touch on that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it's hard to really predict the real estate market cycles. We know that roughly every 12 to 16 years, we usually have some kind of correction or bear market in real estate, but it's hard to kind of really pinpoint where that's going to be at. Where in crypto, that's why I love crypto, because like you could actually tell where you're at in the cycle down to the month. Now, we might not be able to call the perfect Bitcoin top or Ethereum top or even Pulsechain top, but you can get somewhere in the area where you should be taking profits in dollar cost averaging out. Where in real estate, we're unsure, but like I feel like we are in the back end of the cycle of real estate. It could still be propped up through the basically the stock market and the AI narrative. I feel like Ray Dalio, he says we're going through another boom in the stock market because of the AI stuff, like the way 90s and the internet have. If we have that kind of like, because S&P is everything. If we have that kind of like liquidity flooding in the stock market, it will also keep bumping up the real estate market. But we should have seen a correction in real estate when they started pumping these interest rates up. I would love to see, man, can you imagine if real estate was on sale or, down 20, 30, 40%, in 2025 when the crypto markets are up, man, that transition going from one asset class into another could be absolutely astronomical as far as wealth building. I feel like real estate's definitely towards the end of its cycle. Maybe it goes past 25, maybe it goes to 26, 27, who knows? Before we start seeing that correction. Same with the economy. I think if we see a blow off kind of top in the stock market because of the AI narrative, shortly after, it's only a matter of time. We haven't seen a serious bear market in the stock market or in the economy in general in the US. We're kind of due. We might go and do a good run before that bear market comes, but I feel like it's due sometime in the next year, 2 year, maybe 3 years. I don't know. They can only print money so much until until something happens. But they're good at printing money. That's the one tool they have. They could turn that money printer on and try to fix any problem in the economy. They've done so well at it. But like, how long can you keep doing that before something really breaks? I don't know. That's the question. But if you're prepared, ride this. We know the cycle for the crypto bull markets here. Ride that market cycle up. Make as much money as you can. Like like Dan was saying, use that as a wealth building tool. And then if we see a correction, if we see something getting hammered, if we see real estate on sale in 2025 or 2026, come back in and use real estate as a wealth preservation, buy stuff that's on sale. If the economy is getting wrecked, we see, all come in, and this could be the opportunity of a lifetime for our generation. It really could be. Because then how long again before you see that cycle repeat? The last time we got really wrecked in the economy and the stock market was back in 2009, 10, 11. And that was also when the real estate market crashed last. 2006 was kind of the real estate top. And so, you don't see those very often in your lifetime. So when you get the opportunity to capitalize on one of those, do it. Get in there. Hopefully you got some liquidity to do it with, because it could be life-changing wealth. I mean, it really can be. And right now we do know where we're at with the crypto cycle. So let's utilize this with the opportunities because maybe we can capitalize on a bigger opportunity down the road here.
Do you ever see it, a crypto getting away from fiat? Because, like, as you mentioned, the printing press, and that's always my fear, because they can buy as much crypto as they want, and then they manipulate the market, and they never lose money. Like,
yeah, they're already starting to do that. I mean, do I ever see fiat and crypto or us? Yeah, you have CBDCs coming. We all know that, right? And that's the government's crypto crypto, and that's going to be the government's fix, in my opinion, down the road to the fiat currency that's currently failing. And in the future, you're going to have two worlds. You're going to have the CBDC world, which is the government's crypto, because make no mistake, they're going to try to get their greedy little hands into this asset class one way or another, or use this asset class, to their own benefit. Well, you're going to have two worlds. You're going to have to be able to probably pay groceries and put gas in your car and, do your basic needs, day-to-day living. You're going to probably have to have a leg in their CBDC dirty world. I mean, I hope there's a world one day where we don't have to do that. But like, as of right now, it's probably going to happen. But then you also, if you understand decentralized finance, where you're going to have sovereignty and true freedom and true permissionless, censorship resistant, peer-to-peer money will be in decentralized finance. And that's where you're going to be able to build your wealth, decentralized, and be away from them, where they can't get in and, and now obviously they can go in and do things and tax you. But I feel like that in the future, we're going to have two worlds. And I want to make sure I'm building my wealth in DeFi and understand DeFi. And I also teach it to my kids, because I feel like that is the future. That is the future. And yeah, do I see, completely the government going away with their leg trying to be in? I don't. And not currently, but we will have a decision. And I feel like there'll be kind of a bit of a financial war, now we're kind of putting the tinfoil hat on a little bit, with CBDCs versus, DeFi. And we already see it, right? They're trying to come after DeFi and do what they can to shut it down. The SEC is on a freaking witch hunt, and then they keep losing, but they're on a witch hunt, trying to shut this stuff down. You can't. For example, how can you shut down Pulsechain? Pulsechain has 52,000 node validators around the world. And you'd have to shut down the internet or shut down all 52,000 of those node validators around the world to get into Pulsechain. You just can't. I mean, it's almost impossible.
That's the thing is that I'd like to see is like, the internet decentralized, because they can shut it down. Because like we've seen in the last few years, they were removing all the people that were kind of showing health stuff and things like that. So that's a fair. And like, I remember my Gmail, they took it off for a day or so. I mean, I've been
it's all centralized,
censored, but the worst thing is the authenticator. I wasn't able to log into that either.
You wasn't able to log into that.
Yeah, so that was kind of panic kicked in when that
the
was
tool
happening.
That's supposed to give you the access to log in is shut down. It's horrible, man. And cryptocurrency fixes all this. It does. Blockchain fixes all this. It is the future. Make no mistake about it. There is the great transfer of wealth that will happen and transpire through cryptocurrency, because this is the movement. This fixes a problem that we have in humanity right now. It's just probably going to take a little bit of time. This stuff's not overnight.
Excellent. Just finally, I mean, Dane, you might tell me on this one, that when somebody comes in, is it like, how often are you having the calls, and is it kind of like for a year that you sign them up for, or is it just that they can sign up for a certain period?
That's a great question. Yeah, when somebody comes into our mastermind, we have all the resources. So Corey and I have tried all sorts of events and coaching in our careers, especially when we were investing in real estate. Corey and I have both spent over 6 figures individually trying to figure out the right coaches and events to be attending to, the right masterminds with real estate investing. And a lot of it was garbage, but some of the stuff that was good was like crypto gains type of good. One of the masterminds that I joined, in fact, the one I met Corey in, it gave us the information and expertise we needed to take my business from doing 300K a year to 1.4 million over a course of 18 months. And I paid, I would do that all day, right? If I could pay 10 to 20 grand for somebody to do that with my business, I would do that all day long, right? Bring more of that on. And the reason that works so well, in our opinion, or I guess I'll speak more for myself, is twofold. The first is that you had the right information from somebody that had been there and done that before. And the second was continued access to the person that had been there and done that, so that you could pivot and adjust as you saw fit. And that's critical. I think it's incredibly important. I'm not interested in just buying a course and hoping things go well. You need the right attention from the people that know what they're doing. And so that's what Corey and I do in our group. So we have all the cool resources. We have a great course that goes over security, strategy, passive income, transacting in DeFi. I mean, everything, profit taking. We've got that. We do bi-weekly calls. Ours is a year-long mastermind where people can come in and get all of this expertise. And then we do bi-weekly calls. We do one-on-one coaching. We have a private Telegram group. We're in there every single day talking about what's going on, what we're doing, how we're doing it. And then the next iteration, which will be really cool, the second year, will be when we're taking profits from crypto and going into real world assets. So I'm telling you, like, we're very biased because this is our machine that we're building. But the reason we build is because nobody else is doing it out there. Nobody else knows how to combine these different worlds to be able to make it where you can make a ton of money and keep it too. And Corey and I are uniquely positioned to do that, along with our mastermind members that have expertise in both areas as well. And so I truly don't know a better place to grow wealth over the next 5 to 10 years than with what we're doing. And we feel that down to our core. And that's why we're so excited about doing this. We do it every single day.
And have you kind of monitor, but like, I know you have like the returns. Is this something that you can kind of let people know what, irrespective of the investment, but the returns based on your recommendation, what would they typically be?
Yeah, I mean, we have time. Well, I could talk till I'm blue in the face. I'll give just a little bit and then let Corey finish this one. How about? So I mean, I would say it's like anything. If you go on Amazon, for instance, and you're shopping for something, reviews are everything. At least when I'm shopping, because there's 50 different products, right? That are the same thing. Well, I want to find the one that 1,000 people bought. And there's great reviews and the shipping was fast, right? I want to buy that one. I don't really care about the rest of the data. And I think that information is the exact same thing when you're buying an information product or an education of some sort. I want to base it off the reviews. I want to talk to people in the community. I want to see, hey, is this thing really working? What's your experience? And we can give reviews for days. We can give references because our community's pumped about what we're doing. We have almost nobody leaving, and we feel like that's really an attribute. We attribute that because we feel like what we're building is something that people are really engaged in and they're enjoying and they're benefiting and profiting from. So that's what I would say. What would you add to that, Corey?
I mean, if you want some specifics, I mean, that's high level, hit the nail on the head. I mean, if you want a little more specifics, like if you're yield farming, you can make anywhere from like, say 30 to up to 200% APY, okay, on your money. If you're mining, I'm mining Pulsechain right now, and the computer does all the work. You have to run a server. That's anywhere from 10 to 20% APY. If you're mining Ethereum, it's only about 5% roughly. APY. And so like that's another form that we coach on. And then crypto dividends are anywhere from 10 to 20% APY. So if you want like the passive income side of things, that's now when something brand new launches, that's where the gains are juicy. Like the Flex protocol launched yesterday, and I'm making about 1,500% APY right now, but that's gonna decelerate fast. So go in there and grab the money, make the gains quickly, and then hold the position open while the getting is good. So that'd be the passive income stuff. Some of the meme coins we're doing. We had one guy, that one of our community members is kind of a meme coin specialist. He called it out, and one of our other community members put $3,000 in, and it turned to $350,000. So you have little lottery winners like that happen inside our community. But over the grand scheme of things, we tell people, look, this is a delayed gratification. We're not traders in general. We're not traders. We're going to keep accumulating our core assets and for the market cycle. This is what we're doing. We're not here for a quick hit. That's fun when somebody makes $300,000 to $350,000. But we want to play the entirety of the market cycle. And it's fun when someone makes 1,500% APY. But we want to, like, the bulk of our portfolio is to make gains over this next year to year and a half while we're in this bull run. The Bitcoin halving was about a week to 2 weeks ago. That's usually the starting gun that you have about a year to year and a half where it's just going to be good. And so Right now, we're having that correction with Bitcoin, which is right on par with the market cycle. This is like right on cue. What we're doing right now. And so like this is going to maybe be the last opportunity to start accumulating some of your most favorite cryptos. I mean, there'll be opportunities, but this deep depression opportunity that we're seeing a lot of the alts right now, this could be the last time before stuff starts taking off again, because we're about playing the market cycle, not being quick traders.
Excellent. Well, I mean, based on all the information that you've given and the tips that you've given, I think that people are in safe hands. So you might let people know where they can find you.
I guess I'll start. Easiest man, social media, Corey Geary, Corey, Geary, Geary. You can DM me on Facebook. I'm the one who answers my DM. On Instagram, it's the Corey Geary. So I'll spell the same, just the Corey Geary, all one word. And then Twitter is Corey_Geary is what it is on Twitter. And you could DM me on any of those three. I don't have like a VA monitoring. It's me who answers. Feel free to reach out to me about, anything crypto, anything in our community. I love talking crypto. I eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff. First is God, then family, and then it's crypto. So it's like, I love the space. And yeah.
Excellent.
Yep. You can find me on most social media platforms, Money Talk with Dane or Money Talk _Dane. We're on pretty well all social media platforms. Feel free to DM us. You can also come check out our website if you want to get quicker access to us. That's one of the best ways you can come. It's cryptocashflowmethod.com. Let me double check.
Double check that one. While you're double
Yeah,
checking,
that's a newer one.
It's a new one. We also have a YouTube show. If you want to watch, we talk everything crypto and right now specifically Pulsechain and stuff that's launching. We do it Monday through Friday. So you can go to YouTube, you can look up Corey Geary, and it's called the DeFi Crypto Alliance, or you can look up Money Talk with Dane on YouTube too, and we can watch our show. We usually stream 4 to 5 days a week.
Yep. It's Crypto Cash Flow Systems.
That's it.
And cryptocashflowsystems.com. You can come check out our website. And for anybody that has a community, for instance, out there, we do a lot of free stuff where, people that are real estate investors or oil and gas business people, e-com people, anybody that's out there looking to invest that has an appetite for risk, they're coming in and they're playing the game in crypto. And unfortunately, most of them are getting kicked in the nuts. And so what we love to do is for people that have communities, we do a lot of free stuff. We give away a lot of free information. We build free stuff all the time to help integrate in those communities. So if that's something we could help anybody with, feel free to reach out to us in that aspect. Any way we can help. We just want to give people good information. So if we're going to come play the crypto game, they can hedge the opportunity to the upside where they're more likely to win than lose.
Yeah, good little framework to operate from.
No,
yep.
Excellent. I'll make sure I'll put the links both on the audio and the video. Thank you very much, Dane and Corey, for a fantastic conversation.
Yeah,
thanks,
thank
Roy.
you, Roy.
No problem. So that's all for the crypto podcast. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, 5-star rating, share with your friends, and also comment. I like to see what the comments are. Once they're not abusive, they stay up. Until next week, take care. So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. As mentioned at the start, you'll find my 6 podcasts on bio.link/podcaster. And also, if you'd like to start a podcast or do a podcasting tour, you'll find the information on that or on the QR code that's there. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, 5-star rating, and share with your friends because it really helps. And also, I'd like to thank DanielPackard.com, helping people with fear, doubt, and anxiety. He's got a 90% success rate, and he's only charging if he helps you. So be sure to check him out, and you get a free call to discuss everything. Until next week, take care.